Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at electrics. We're finally at the point where there's a bit of first fix going in, settle some of your nerves. So I'm going to give you a bit of a walk around. I took some footage on the day when James and Sean came up. They fitted about 90% of the first fix. They were here about 6 hours, absolutely smashed it. And then I will give you a bit of a walk around after to show you what we've decided on, what we haven't decided on, and where we might need your advice. Hey folks, it's all going on today. Joey's installation masterclass going on down here. That'll be a separate video, but
the beginner's masterclass.
Beginner's masterclass. Interesting technique going on there, but we're going to see how it goes. We've been recommended it, but we'll hold fire. But the guys are here doing the electrics too. First fix. What's the red?
That's our cable tongue.
Tongue?
Yeah, it's a cable puller, but it's designed for stud walls because it calls back on itself.
Oh?
So if you feed it to the stud wall, it will pop back out, whereas a rod tends to aim towards the other.
Beyond it.
Well, if you're trying to fish up here, a rod would go in at that angle and just continue up that edge.
Yeah.
So if you've got a thick stud, sometimes you can't get in, then you can't retrieve it.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas the cable tongue will go in, stay against the plasterboard, come up, and then pop back out.
Nice.
Like it has done there. So a rod would have just gone straight.
Yeah,
and
you'd
I'd
have
have to
to
try and fish it
the other way.
this way.
So there we go. Quite a lot of wiring for a caravan, isn't it? kind of feeling we might be overthinking and over-engineering things, but you know, this is going to be home for 2-3 years, and it needs to suit us and also suit whatever it's going to be afterwards, whoever you know buys it or whatever we repurpose it for. So I'm going to give you a bit of a walk around, but I'm going to first of all answer some of the questions you might have from what you just saw. First up, you've got two halves, Hodge and Podge as we call them. One of the main design criteria for when we were kind of planning out this with James is we decided to have all of our heavy duty goods or requirements for electric on this side. That made things easier for a few reasons, and it's the same reason why we've kind of put all the plumbing on this side as well. So at the moment we've got the incoming mains will come up on that end wall there where the utility is to the consumer unit. That will serve everything on this side, so the different radials going off for sockets. We've got a heating ring for heaters, believe it or not, in the bedrooms, and then also for the shower. So that was kind of all the big bits, induction hob, oven, things like that. So then there's got to be a connection point between this and that, because you're not obviously going to have a whole consumer unit and everything for one side and the other. So we've got one supply coming in, and what we've got then is simply a lighting, heating, radial, and possibly the smoke alarms and heat alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. I think they're all on that side. I'm not sure. They might not be actually, because they are, because they're in that hallway. So they're the only requirements on this side in Podge. So what we've got then is purpose designed loom, I guess it will be almost, which at the end it's going to have, I think they're called click connectors. So there'll be a click connector for each of those various things. There'll then be an access hatch in here with whatever boarding and plasterboard. Our fridge freezer sits here, so that's the one bit that you need to get to, disconnect, and then plumbing will be separate. Apart from that, there's nothing, no utilities at least, that are joining and spanning the two. Everything has been wired up completely individually and separate from from the other side. So not sure how much of it I filmed, but I've put this stud wall in now, which was always the plan. So we've got an entrance area, hallway type feel to coming in, units, hooks, things like that, to make it just a usable entrance. So that gave us the site for all of our switches. So at this point, for the open plan area, we've got 4 switches, which is for 4 different areas, 4 different zones. We've decided on just pendants or ceiling fittings, rather than spotlights in, inset lights. That was for a couple of reasons, but mainly because we've decided on a lighter weight ceiling, and also the void maybe wasn't enough to get those in. And besides, we've got more feature lights that we've already got in storage, and lampshades that Joe's sister makes and things like that we want to incorporate in here. So they're a bit nicer, and pendants over the breakfast bar and things like that. So that's going to be switches. Apart from that, this is all fairly straightforward. Open area and another switch for the kitchen. And then, it's not meant to be a tour, this, but we've got a door that will be in here to separate bedrooms and living area from the open plan area and the utility. That's going to be in one zone. So if you've got people coming in or visitors, they don't need to see the mess in the bedrooms. So there's going to be a door there, so therefore there's another switch. Lighting down the hallway, and then all the bedrooms are fairly straightforward. So each of the bedrooms has a single heater, single light switch, and 2 double sockets. So that's the same, and we've decided to put everything in stud work on this side of the building, so we haven't had to counterbatten and service cavity the walls. In a big build I'd be tempted to do that, but because we're thinking about weight, room size, and just general ease of construction, I think we're just going to board and panel straight over those OSB boards, and that should be fine. It means we can also use adhesive on the back of the boards, so it's less likely to be any moving and cracking. And then if we cross over to Podge, so this is the master bedroom. So this is the only place where we've actually decided, because we're not battening the wall, we had to punch through. It's an internal stud wall, but punch through the OSB there just so we could bring through the light switch for here, double socket either side of the bed. That's easily patched, and then we can just panel over here. Joe wants a feature wall there, so we're going to panel that. Again, other stuff is in that stud wall, so that's kept it simple. Right, bathroom extractor up there, towel rail, electric, everything's electric. Now, there's a few reasons why we decided to go with electric over using gas. Now, most static caravans, lodges and everything just have LPG bottles and combi boiler, wet heating, and I get it, yeah, it's an option. But I didn't really want to do that if we could help it, and I thought it'd be interesting to try a few different options. Electric heating, of course, if we've got a large solar panel array, whether it's at the time of this building, but certainly when we come to do the main house, is obviously a big plus. So we can use that, and hopefully there'll be a bit of a crossover there, so we'll be able to compensate for this. We've also maxed out on our insulation, so the less we can heat the rooms at all, the better. So for a caravan, which is what it is, we're pretty well insulated. We've also got the wood burner going in down the end, so that will work its way through anyway, and obviously all that wood is from the farm here. So I'm hoping that between the two, it'll be a good option. The little heaters are fairly efficient as well, and we should be able to tie them all in on a smart thing, jobby, on the app. So that's what we decided on. Right or wrong, yes, a small combi boiler would be way easier with hot water, but we'll get to that in a minute. So into the utility area is pretty big and compared to all the other rooms, but there was good reason for that, just simply because we're messy people and we need somewhere to put stuff, wash stuff, laundry, all that stuff. So we've boxed in here, so this is going to be I was about to say downstairs toilet, but it's the small toilet for the rest of the building, so if visitors come in they can use this. So for that reason, the extractor is on the outside wall. I'm going to have to box and duct in the ducting from that wall just across here, and that should be relatively straightforward. Simple switch and light for in there. Conventional plumbing as much as the waste and hot and cold, but the hot is where it is getting a little bit tricky because she wants a bath. This is where people might have a bit of advice. So hot water. We are all electric. I don't think we want to look at running off a back boiler off the wood burner. It's just a bit, all year round. I'm not thinking that is going to be an option. So let's rule that out. Let's definitely rule out gas and a small combi boiler, even though it would be quite a simple way to go. But we want a shower. Fine, we could use an electric shower, and they're going to wire that in, with a bigger cable. But if we need a bath, which in a family home, we kind of probably do need a bath, got to wash the dog somewhere, we've got to fill a bath, and everyone I spoke to and the options I've looked into won't allow for that on electric. The biggest water heater you can buy, which is essentially like an electric combi, was something like 12K. I mean, it wasn't much more than an electric shower, so by the time the bath was full, it would be cold. Other options would be solar thermal, which could be a good option in the future, and it wouldn't be that big. We could put it on this roof or put it off roof, so that's an option. But it's certainly, for all year round use, we probably do need to have hot water somehow. So if it wasn't for the bath, we could do electric shower, we could do under counter heaters for the two basins. So the current thinking is we're going to put a airing cupboard, old school. No, we're going to put an unvented cylinder here, and we'll get that fitted, 100 litre maybe, 120 litre, with 2 immersions, which I think we've allowed for. Yeah, 2 immersions. I'll probably spec it to have a solar coil in it ready, just in case. It's what we did at the last house, even though we never used it. It's there just in case. And then that will be enough to supply through to the bathroom. Utility doesn't have any requirements. We're not going to put a sink in here. We've decided against that. So into the toilet and across to the kitchen. I don't think there are any other options. Perhaps if we were using wet heating throughout the building, then there are different electric boilers and things like that. But for just hot water, that's what we've come up with. Even as much as this cylinder goes, it would be good to hear anyone's advice, whether, brand, slim, tall, sizing. It's just going to be a small bath that it's running. And I'm thinking if we are going to go with the cylinder route, we might knock the idea of an electric shower on the head and go with a conventional shower. But if there's anything else we should be thinking about, do let us know. Our flow rate's fine, our pressure's fine. There are a couple of cylinders I spotted that had internal expansion vessels. That looked better, especially because we're trying to keep it slim and in the cupboard rather than having expansion tanks up on the wall above. So if there's any downsides to that, it'd be good to know as well. Anyway, back to the Grand Tour. 2 single plugs down there for washing machine, tumble dryer, 2 switched fused spur jobbies up there for those, double socket up there for all those utility pluggy in things. Over here, 5 double sockets, of course. That's going to be a little desk charging station. So we're just going to have a whole bank of, I think maybe 4 double sockets there because you can never have enough for charging. So that's the plan. And that'll just be the little Restoration Couple behind the scenes HQ hub. We probably won't edit there. We'll probably edit on the sofa, knowing us. But we can put a little desk in there. Sun's going down. Sorry if it's a little bit poor, the lighting. We've actually got half a roof on now. So this time tomorrow, well, it could be pretty dark in here, to be honest. We need to get a few work lights going. So kitchen. We really didn't plan the kitchen out. The guys turned up and they said, well, have you got your kitchen design? Have you got your plan? Where do you want stuff? And we'd kind of put Sharpie on studs and that was about it. We are a bit behind in that respect. So the plan at the moment, but we're happy to take design ideas from you guys, or at least the practical side of it. Full height, floor to ceiling bank of everything here. So American fridge freezer there. Full height larders. Double oven. And probably another full height larder because you can't have enough of them. And then we've got the microwave and coffee machine in the corner. Worktop's going to come across here. Induction hob's got to go here, just a 4. So there'll be a hood up here, which is fine. We can get that, punch that through. This batten can be chopped if needs be, if it happens to sit there. No one told me my microphone had run out of battery, and I have no idea where I got to. Should have told me, shouldn't you? But I hopefully got the gist of that kitchen layout. If you've got any advice or suggestions for who we use for the kitchen, it'd be great to hear your experiences. But the thing I was just talking about, getting really excited, and then it didn't happen. And apologies for the audio now, because we're on the camera audio. We've decided on underfloor heating. I don't know why we hadn't really thought about it before. The ceiling plastered infrared system, I really like the idea of. I want to try it at some point, but we're not using plasterboard, so it became a non-starter. So we decided, because we're going with LVT kind of click system throughout the whole building, we might just do underfloor. It's only this end that needs heating. The rest are on normal radiators. So the thin sort of foil underfloor is the route I think we're going to go. It's 2 6x3 metre, patches. The guys have allowed for that with the electrics. They're not crazy expensive. I think it's like £400 or £500 a half with everything included. It might even go in on a smartphone type app as well. It's really just for the mornings and for the sort of the timed bits. Hopefully the wood burner is going to do a lot of the work for us. And what I'm really keen to look at is getting the wood burner sited on that end gable wall, which is the plan, and then look at using a really low wattage fan just above the hallway door to kind of pull the heat through. We're not going MVHR. We did think about it, a small system, but we're not doing that now, and we don't need to. But what that would do is just help distribute the heat from this end through to the bedrooms, and that might work well. We might also look at putting a little MVHR unit in the bathroom extractor, and I've come across people who've used that quite well. So you get that movement through the building, because we're quite airtight here anyway. That would draw it through very gradually, and but not lose any of the heat. You know, it recovers that heat anyway, and that could be a humid humidity sensor on that as well. So that makes sure that we're always good, and they're just so low wattage, some of those fans, you wouldn't even know they're on. I'm going to leave it there. You probably can barely hear me. If you've got any questions, stick them down in the comments. We are going to be doing the roof tomorrow, so that will be the next thing. Hopefully the sun will be out for us, but I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.